Hi, and welcome to Tappable. I'm Charles, founder and CTO of Tappable, and today we are going to create the story you see right here. It's a landing story for a fictional company, Lil Skin. Lil Skin sells beauty face masks and as a direct-to-consumer brand, mostly sells online. For their next Instagram ad campaign, they want to use this story as a landing page to highlight their brand and product. And in this video, I'll walk you through how you can create stories like this one yourself with Tappable. This is the Tappable editor. In the middle, you can see the canvas. Right now, it's a little empty, but we'll fix this in a second. On the left, you can see all the layers that make up this page. On the right, you can change the properties for each layer. And finally, at the top, you have a view of all the pages that make up your story. Now that we're situated, let's start creating. Imagery is key when creating landing stories. So, for our cover page, let's upload a visually striking image. We do so by selecting the image background layer and dropping our file in the upload area. After a few seconds, we see our image filling up the canvas. Now that the image is uploaded, let's take the good habit of setting the background of the page to the dominant color of the image. The easiest way to do so is to use the color picker. But an image is not all we want on this cover page. Time to add some text to liven up this page. We can do so in the Layers section. Luckily, our marketing department prepared some great copy, so we can paste our title right in. Let's see how we can give this title a bit more prominence. I'll start with making the title way bigger and make the text extra bold and centered. I feel the space between both lines is a little too large, so let's fix this by changing the line height. And we can now finish by setting the color to a dark blue. Having the text in the middle of the page is not exactly where we want it, so let's resize and position our title. Let's finish our cover page by adding a call to action. That way, we give a reason for viewers to tap and continue watching the story. I'll create a new text layer and position it below the title layer. I'll then paste in the call to action and style it just the way I want. I'm using the same tools for the title, changing the color, weight, and alignment of the text. But I'll also give the letters some spacing. It looks a bit more modern that way. The final thing to do on this page is make the text more legible. Background overlays are the perfect tool to do that. I will choose a solid white overlay that starts from the middle. This is a good place to start, but I only need the bottom third to be lighter. With the offset slider, I can choose where the overlay starts. And I can also add a background blur to finish off the cover page. But how does this page look on my phone? Let's click on the preview button to find out. To open this page on my phone, I'm going to display the QR code and scan it. At any point, you can preview your story to see it in context, between your hands. We'll get back to the publishing part when we are done creating the story. So let's close this and create a new page. For the second page of our story, we want to show a video of our masks in action. Let's start by going to our background layers and selecting the video background. Next, I'll upload this video. While it's uploading, let's talk about the limitations. Videos are optimized for the best viewer experience. That means you can upload pretty much any type of video and we'll convert it for you. Your videos will be cut at 30 seconds in length though. Analytics show virtually nobody watches videos longer than 30 seconds. And finally, videos loop unless you set the page to auto advance. Now that we have our video in the background, let's talk about interactive elements. In the sidebar, you can choose from various interactive elements to add to your page. On this page, we want to add a form so that viewers can get a free sample shipped to their home. Let's get started by adding the interactive layer to the page and by creating a form. What you see now is the form editor. We're going to change the defaults and adapt it to our use case. So let's change the title and introduction paragraph. And since we want to ship a free sample, we're going to ask for the viewer's address. The easiest way to do so is by adding a long text input. Let's define a question and a placeholder to clarify we want the story viewer to enter a shipping address. Finally, let's change the ID to something more legible. On top of adding inputs, we can also add content to our form. It's always good to highlight what will be done with personal data, so let's add a disclaimer to this form. This looks good. Finally, we can also change the success screen, but in this video we will just keep the default. Let's finish the form creation with some settings. Form responses are emailed directly to the workspace owner, but you can choose to save responses with Tappable or send responses to a webhook. But we're going to stick with emails today. We now simply click Publish and see it appear in the recently created forms. Adding this form to our page is as simple as selecting it. Finally, we want to change the call to action to be more descriptive. Let's rename the swipe up to Get a Free Sample. To finish this second page, I want to add a bit of text. I'm going to create a new text layer, and just like in the first page, I'm going to style the text till it looks good. I'm also going to align my text to the bottom of the layer. As a final touch, to make the text more legible, I'm going to add an overlay on top of the background. I'm choosing to darken the bottom of the video where the text and call to actions are located. Let's quickly preview our story before moving on to our third page. On this page, we're going to highlight our product. To keep things clean, let's go for a solid background on this page. I'm choosing this blue color for the background, and then I'll create an image layer. In comparison to the background image layer, a foreground image layer can be resized and positioned anywhere. I'm going to add our product image right here. Next, I want some big and bold text. Ready, set, glow. But this doesn't look big and bold yet. So let's fix that by setting the size and weight of this text. I also think we can play with the alignment and line height to make the text a bit more interesting. There we go, very nice. But now I see that the text covers the image just a little bit. I want the image to cover the text to create more of a depth effect. I can reorder the layers by dragging the text layer and placing it behind the image layer. This looks much better already. But I feel the masks are a bit lost on this blue background. I'm going to give our products a bit more separation, highlighting them a bit more. To do so, I'm going to create a rectangle layer. The first thing I'll do is resize this layer and place it behind the image and text. This is already much better. Let's make the rectangle white and round off the corners. And finally, let's give it a nice border. I'll pick the same color as a background and reduce the opacity. The final touch will be to increase the border size a little bit. Perfect. I really like how this looks. I want to make it really easy for my potential customers to know more about our masks. I want to show the price, show a description, and show more pictures. And of course, I want our customers to be able to buy our products. Tappable has a solution for that: product tags. As product tags are interactive, we can find them among the interactive layers. The first thing I need to do is create a product, just like we did with forms. I'll quickly fill in the information required, as well as give our face mask a description. And finally, I'll add a few images. I can now publish this product and add it to the page. Positioning the tag is done with the horizontal and vertical position sliders. Let's preview this page to check out all of the features of the product tag. When a viewer taps on a tag or swipes up, the product details get revealed. Buying is now just a tap away. For our final page, we want to send story viewers to our website. Let's start with the interactive part first, and we'll design the page afterwards. In the interactive layers, I'm adding a link. Again, just like with forms and products, I need to create a link. Since Lilskin is a fictional company, I am going to add the Tappable website. I simply have to add the URL and click Publish. I can now select this link and change the call to action to be more descriptive. Let's now work on the design of this page. I'm going to take inspiration from Instagram stories and create a simple page with an image. I'll start with creating an image layer and resize it to be taller. Then upload my image and attach it. But I don't want the background to be so dark. So I'll also choose that exact same image for the background and blur it with an overlay. This nicely highlights my image, similar to how Instagram does it. Let's preview our story. Again, using the QR code, we can see how everything looks directly on our phones. This all looks really good, so let's publish. Let's give our story a title and a description. We also need to choose our link. And finally, since this is going to be a landing page, I don't want this story to show up in search engines. But tappable stories are great at SEO, so don't hesitate to create an evergreen story about your brand and leave discovery checked. The final thing left to do is very simple. Click Publish. That's it. Your story is now online for the world to see.